Greetings. This is Adam from Free Period. Lesson planning takes too long. It's Sunday night and you spend 40 minutes making a keyword game that half the class is going to ignore. But you want a good starter, you want the kids to settle down. And as a teacher, you're always reflecting, you're always iterating, and you're still going to plan that lesson regardless. Now, what I'm going to show you today is how to remove some of the friction. And what I mean by that is save yourself some time. Now, check this out. So I've got lesson starter generator skill. Now I'm going to dig into what skills are in a little bit, but first of all, I just want you to see what happens. All I'm doing is I've selected a skill with a / command, and then I've dropped in a slide deck. It's going to take a little moment to load. Here we go. And I just hit go. Now, what Claude's doing here is looking at the skill. Now, the way to think about a skill is when you open a new chat, you've got a hyper intelligent child in front of you, but it doesn't know how to interact with the world. And a skill is a standard operating procedure. It's a set of rules that hyper intelligent child's going to follow to interact with the information that you've given it. Now, all I'm asking it to do here is to look at the lesson slide that I gave it, pull out some keywords, and create me a simple game to start my class. Now, what's cool here is if I just go to a new tab, you'll see that you can even go and work on something else. And that's the workflow that I do, because I'm going to get a pop-up to tell me when it's done. Now, we'll have a look at that skill, what the output of that skill is in a second, but I'm going to show you how to draft your own one. Now, skills are something you can share. You could make your own lesson starter one and based off the one that I've already created. And I'm happy to share that if you want a starting point. So I've just got a pop up. I can go back and here you go. It's made an odd one out game. It's pretty basic. I didn't put any style tips into this or anything. I just wanted to show you a basic level skill. Now, this is a HTML output. And what that means is that if I download it, I can share it, and anyone else that downloads and opens that. So let's just open the one I created. Are then able to use it, and it's locally stored information that you have everything you need here for it to work. You can add this as a hyperlink to a slide deck, but make sure you download it before you open it. You could share it with your students, which is really powerful. Maybe you want to review a lesson in this format, and I've developed a skill where I get a HTML output for students to use for revision. That's something that we'll go through in a later how-to series. But for now, I'm going to show you how could you make your own skill. Now, when I interact with my hyper-intelligent child, which is Claude, I think about draft. I think about dropping a file. So that file in this instance would be like my enzyme lesson. Now, if depending on what skill you're building, it will depend on what file you're dropping. But the idea is to give it some information. So here is a lesson slide deck. I want to make a series of starters in a HTML output using keywords from the slide deck. Quite a simple prompt. And then I'm going to reference a style. And the style I want is manga, cartoon, and I like to always say create custom emojis. Because I feel like when Claude and other AI start pulling out the standard emojis from your phone, I feel like it looks more amateur. And I really enjoy the UI design of things now that I've really got into vibe coding, and manga is something that I think is quite cool and resonates with students. But one tip I say is always say create custom emojis. You can even have the conversation, I don't want this to look AI generated. Let's go through some different styles. And then think about your audience. So draft. So we've dropped our file, we've referenced the style. Who is the audience? group of lively students that need to settle down at the start of class. If you just say biology class, there's not much to go with. Describe the group that you've got and who is the actual audience. And then feedback. Now, that's not something we have to input now, but what my top tip is whenever giving feedback, it means working through something, you tell it one thing at a time. So you want to tell also the main constraint. So, main constraint for this is that I want a HTML output automatically. HTML output, we'll leave the automatically bit out at the moment. Output and activity should last 3 to 5 minutes. Now, when creating a skill, the top thing here, like, think about a draft. Now, I haven't told it I'm creating a skill. Now, the way to think about a skill is like you've had your long iterative conversation with Claude or whatever LLM you're using. But for Claude, that's what we call them. We call them skills. Other LLMs have different names, but it's a set of framework that they can then work with in the future. And it's a way to recreate the end output of a conversation again without having to go through it all. This will act as a reference point to any new chat I start. They can pull the skill. So if I just hit enter, give it a few minutes. Okay, so I paused a little bit there. Sorry, just jumped out at you there. Just because it takes a little while to create it. It was about 1 to 2 minutes. And what you can see here is our output. Completely ignored the custom emojis. It's just stuck in some ones that it thinks are novel. So that's where I would then go through the feedback process. And I would discuss like what I think about the style. If I want a particular lettering, I can give it the name of it. I could screenshot and drop some images. Now, let's say, for instance, I'm happy with this. Now, the next thing that I want to do to turn this into a skill is to say to Claude, love this, let's turn it into a skill I can use in the future. Call it, give it a name, and give me a zip file output. Now, what it's going to do now is set up that framework. I'll show you a few other skills that I've got at the moment in this account. So here we've got skills. I've got a lesson start generator, a video sketch generator, biology co-planner, free period interactive lesson. And these are all frameworks that I decided I was happy with. And then I turned them into skills. And they're ones, and you can refine that skill as well. If you use it, it's not quite working how you want it to, or you have an idea, it's not a fixed thing. It's something that you can still develop and add to and refine. And it's something that you can also share. So, for instance, here, I'm able to take that skill and actually download it and share it with someone else. So if I click download here, and I can send it to a friend. Now, if you're interested in my starter one as a point to get you going, then feel free to just comment and I can share that with you. Now, let's wait for Claude here to finish up and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to add it. Okay, so here's our output. Tell me what's inside the zip, how to install it, download, unzip it into your Claude skills directory, and then first use, no prompting required. Upload any lesson, skill automatically extracts the terms and generates an odd one out starter. Now, let's have a little look. So hit download here. And what it means is I go to customize, click on skills, click the plus here, and I'm going to upload a skill. So I can drag and drop in that folder here. And now if I create a new chat, I hit starter. Here's the one that I showed you in the beginning. the lesson starter generator, and here's our new one that we've just made. So that whole conversation that we had with Claude is now one word: starter. Now imagine you can now take that as a starting point, or any other conversations you had, and you can build it out to whatever you imagine. This is just a simple odd one out starter. But what I've done is I'm going to save myself a huge amount of time, because like whenever I just want to, I haven't got a way to start a particular class, or even just generating those odd one outs, they take a bit of time, and this is a great starting point. So I hope you've found this useful. If you like and subscribe, and if you want to comment below, I can share that starter skill with you as a starting point. Okay, thanks. And don't forget to tune in to our weekly podcast.